my goodness, Royal Watchers, I cannot believe what's happening with Prince Harry and the Invictus Games right now. This is absolutely explosive and might just be the final nail in the coffin of Harry's post-royal reputation. I've been covering celebrity downfalls for decades, but even I am stunned by this latest humiliation. Now, I know you guys are excited for more, but before we delve into further discussion, if you haven't subscribed, come on guys, what are you waiting for? Hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell ASAP. So now, let me break this down for you, because what's unfolding is truly unprecedented. Prince Harry, who has always pointed to the Invictus Games as his crowning achievement, his redemption after leaving royal life, has just been publicly rejected and humiliated by the very organization he founded. Can you believe it? The one thing he had left that everyone respected him for is now slipping through his fingers. Here's what happened, and this is absolutely shocking. With the Invictus Games set to return to the UK in 2027, Harry reportedly made some outrageous security demands for himself and Meghan. We're not talking about standard event security here. He wanted the full royal treatment. Snipers on rooftops, restricted zones, taxpayer-funded escorts. The complete royal security bubble that he lost when he walked away from his royal duties. And the response from Invictus CEO Dominic Reid? A brutal public shutdown that has gone viral across royal circles. Reid reportedly told Harry, "This is a homecoming, not a battlefield. Do you still need security in your own home?" Can you even imagine the humiliation? That line is absolutely devastating, calling out Harry's paranoia while reminding him that Britain is literally his homeland. What makes this rejection particularly stinging is that it came from Invictus, the one thing Harry thought was safely his. This wasn't King Charles or Prince William snubbing him. This was his own creation, his own legacy, essentially telling him that he's becoming a liability rather than an asset. The very organization built on values like courage, sacrifice, and resilience is now questioning whether Harry embodies any of those values. The hypocrisy is what's really stunning everyone who's following this story. Here's Harry, constantly preaching about bravery and resilience to veterans who have lost limbs in combat. Yet he's apparently terrified of facing some protesters or hecklers in his home country. These wounded warriors are flying in from literal war zones with life-altering injuries, while Harry seems obsessed with protecting himself from what exactly? Some signs and booze? The contrast couldn't be more stark or more damaging to his image. Even more shocking is that Major Edward Lane, a highly respected former British Army officer, publicly called out Harry and Meghan, labeling them as narcissists and saying that wounded veterans are utterly and irrefutably done with the couple. He didn't mince words, saying they've turned Invictus into a grotesque theater for their own benefit. Can you imagine how devastating this must be for Harry, having actual veterans, the very people he claims to champion, turning against him so publicly? What's particularly fascinating about this situation is how it exposes the growing disconnect between Harry's self-perception and how the world actually sees him. He still seems to believe he's entitled to royal privileges despite walking away from royal duties. The audacity of expecting UK taxpayers, many struggling with rising energy bills and inflation, to foot the bill for his elite security is absolutely mind-boggling. No wonder polls show that over 70% of Britons believe Harry and Meghan should cover their own protection costs when visiting the UK. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Invictus organizers are reportedly planning events for the 2027 Games without Harry's presence. Can you imagine? The founder of the Games being sidelined at his own event? It's like creating a masterpiece painting only to be told you can't attend the gallery opening. The humiliation is just staggering. What we're witnessing is nothing short of a complete rebranding of the Invictus Games, from Prince Harry's Games to the Veterans Games. That subtle shift speaks volumes about how far Harry's star has fallen. The Invictus CEO didn't just deny his security request. He essentially reclaimed the entire event from Harry's ego and redirected the focus back to where it belongs, on the veterans themselves. In a desperate attempt to salvage the situation, Harry has reportedly sent half-hearted olive branches to King Charles and Prince William, inviting them to the 2027 Games. But royal insiders are divided on whether this is genuine reconciliation or just Harry panicking as he watches his last significant achievement slipping away. Would accepting his invitation make the king look petty, or would it give Harry one last shot at redemption? The palace has remained tellingly silent on the matter. What's particularly devastating for Harry is that without Invictus, what does he have left? His Netflix deals have reportedly underperformed. His memoir Spare generated more backlash than sympathy. His Hollywood connections seem to be drying up. Invictus was literally the last thing that gave him credibility on the world stage. If the games continue to distance themselves from their founder, Harry isn't just losing influence, he's losing the final shred of legitimacy he had left. And let's talk about the timing. The 2027 UK Games are scheduled to coincide with Queen Camilla's 80th birthday. Royal commentators suggest Prince William is unlikely to attend, concerned about security, and unwilling to prop up what he reportedly sees as a self-serving charade. Can you imagine how awkward and humiliating it would be for Harry if the royal family completely snubbed an event that was once his pride and joy? The reaction online has been absolutely brutal. Do you need security in your own home? Is trending as the internet's newest punchline. Veterans and royal watchers alike are mocking Harry for apparently turning a noble cause into a personal vanity project. The memes are writing themselves, and social media is having an absolute field day with Harry's latest humiliation. What's particularly ironic about this whole situation is that Harry created Invictus to help injured veterans rebuild their lives through sport, to show that adversity could be overcome with courage and determination. Yet now, Harry himself appears unable to face the adversity of returning to the UK without special treatment. The contrast between the resilience of these wounded warriors and Harry's apparent fragility couldn't be more stark. Major Edward Lane's comments were particularly scathing, saying that Meghan wouldn't know sacrifice if it bled out in front of her, and that Harry had once earned our respect, but he sold it for a docuseries and a podcast that even Spotify couldn't stomach. Those aren't just harsh words. They represent a complete collapse of Harry's standing among the very military community he once considered his people. And here's what many royal watchers find most tragic about this situation. Invictus truly was a brilliant concept that has helped thousands of wounded service members around the world. It was the one unquestionably positive thing Harry created during his royal life. And now, because of his apparent ego and entitlement issues, he's at risk of being pushed out of his own organization. The legacy he built is being protected from him rather than by him. What makes this public rejection especially humiliating is that it's happening in plain sight. This isn't palace intrigue or behind closed doors drama. This is the Invictus CEO and veterans publicly rebuking the founder. It's like watching a father being told he's no longer welcome at his child's birthday party because he's become too disruptive. The public nature of this rebuke makes it impossible for Harry's PR team to spin. The question now is whether Invictus should officially cut ties with Harry altogether, or if they should still honor him as their founder despite the growing controversies. The organization clearly faces a difficult balancing act, acknowledging Harry's role in creating the games while ensuring his personal drama doesn't overshadow the athletes and their incredible journeys of recovery. What's becoming increasingly clear is that the Invictus Games will survive with or without Prince Harry. They'll continue to stand for veterans, courage, and recovery, without needing to bend to the whims of a prince who seemingly abandoned his duties but still craves the privileges. The Games have developed an identity and purpose far beyond their founder, and that may be the most painful reality for Harry to accept. For Harry, this public rejection couldn't come at a worse time. His American reinvention seems to be stalling. His relationship with the royal family remains fractured, and now even the military community, the one group he thought would always have his back, appears to be turning against him. It's like watching the last pillar of his identity crumble before our eyes. The UK 2027 Games were supposed to be Harry's triumphant return moment, a chance to show that he could still be relevant and respected in his homeland, despite everything that's happened. Yet now, The conversation isn't about celebrating veterans or the competition itself. It's about whether Harry will even dare to show his face without being booed. The UK press is already sharpening their knives, and the public certainly won't stay silent if he tries to make Invictus about himself rather than the athletes. What we're witnessing is truly unprecedented. A royal who created something genuinely good and important, only to potentially lose control of it because of his own behavior. It raises profound questions about legacy, entitlement, and what happens when founders become liabilities to the very organizations they created. So I ask you, my loyal viewers, has Harry officially lost the one legacy he had left? Or is this just another bump in the road before he eventually fades into celebrity irrelevance? Should Invictus cut ties with him completely, or is there still a role for him to play in the organization's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this story is absolutely explosive and shows no signs of cooling down. One thing is certain. When the founder becomes the problem, tough decisions have to be made. And it appears the Invictus Games are choosing their mission over their creator, choosing the wounded warriors over the wounded prince. For Harry, that might be the most painful rejection of all. Not from his family, not from the public, but from the very people he once championed. And that, my friends, is a fall from grace that even the most dramatic royal scandals of the past can't match. Ta-ta, and bye for now.